Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one leaves countries. Lie to your face, fight and die, 'cause God forgives. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slide, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. See the shit, force a bear. Fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one leaves countries. Lie to your face, fight and die, 'cause God forgives. Yeah. Coming back around again.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is Rock the Boat right here on UCY.TV, the best little network on the whole freaking internet. Now, things just keep getting stranger and stranger all the time. And I actually got a call today from a gentleman. I did a story, I don't know when it was, a week or so ago, about the police in Calgary shooting too many people, and got a call from a gentleman, and at the end of that story was a lady was shot and killed by a first-year policewoman. And the way the story, I don't have the story in front of me right now, but the way the story was written, it was like they made the excuse that it's okay she shot this lady because and killed her because, well, she's only a first-year policewoman, right? And so I actually got a call from a gentleman this morning who'd heard the show or was alerted by somebody else that I did the show, and he called me this morning. It turned out it was I believe it was his sister-in-law that was shot and killed by the police. And then his son passed away 3 weeks later. So, heart goes out to this gentleman. And I haven't had a chance. I'm going to try and get a hold of him after the show tonight. I haven't had time today. We talked for a bit this morning, and I'll try and get a hold of him tonight. And maybe I can get him to come on the show and talk about. I've heard all kinds of problems with the police in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I mean, I remember telling a friend years ago, guys, it's got to be 15 years ago now at least, that when the uniforms it went from blue to black, and the flak jackets went on, and it all went slowly. And I said, look, they're militarizing the police. And he's going, no, they're not. Well, yeah, they are. And yeah, they did. And, it's like they're hiring thugs, or at least extremely amoral people. And their job is, well, I don't even know what their job is anymore, to irritate people, I guess. It certainly isn't to act appropriately, that's for sure. It's like they're looking for any reason whatsoever to lay a beating on somebody, a tasering on somebody, or straight out shoot them, and that has to stop. I don't know. Maybe I got to move back to Calgary. Faye, who listened to the show fairly often, I guess, and she'd heard the show, which was a messed up show we did on Sunday. We had some technical problems, and we were bouncing around from this to that and the other thing. But Faye called me today from Calgary, where they managed to get the fluoride out of the water. They tried the normal route that most people take at the beginning, and they go to council meetings and that and try and explain and show them all the documentation of why fluoride's bad. But after a while, you know, Faye and them, like anybody that attends council meetings on a regular basis, comes to the conclusion that, you know, everything you're talking about is contained in that council meeting, and the word's not getting out to the regular Joe, because who the hell is watching a council meeting? So they took it upon themselves to do things properly, I guess you could call it, by, you know, doing some flyering and putting the names of the council members on those printouts and pasting them all over the place, handing them out, and including the phone numbers of the personal home phone numbers of the counselors, and encouraging people to call them. And it worked. It's about holding their feet to the fire. And so I haven't had a chance to look at too much of this stuff yet, but Faye sent me a bunch of what they were using in Calgary, because she knows that Michael has to go for that injunction. Michael Schmidt has to go for that injunction on the 29th and 30th of May down in Newmarket, Ontario, where they're going to try and bring down the hammer on him. 23 years, nobody's ever been ill from anything he's done. Most pleasant farm you'll ever visit in your life. And so they've tried everything through the criminal courts and that, and it hasn't worked. And so now they're taking it to civil court, and if he loses in civil court, that means all the money they wasted on this, putting this injunction together, Michael and I guess the shareholders in that are going to be on the hook for. So they can't bust him through the financial or through the criminal court, so they're going to try and bust him financially through the civil court. Just tells you how evil your so-called government is. When they tell you what you can and can't eat, we have a huge, huge problem on our hands. So I thank Faye for sending all this information, which I'll get over to Michael and see if we can't put something together so that we can do handouts at the courthouse and on the streets, because the courthouse is on the main street. So hopefully we can get the attention of some of the folks in Newmarket. Hopefully there's some media there. We'll be shooting some film, I guess, while we're there, or video, and get it up on YouTube when this thing's over. And hopefully it works out okay, but the fight's not over. You know, it really irritates me because it was way back in 2010, the last time I was at the Newmarket Courthouse, and it was when Michael was up on 19 charges, and I think it took almost a year for them to come to a verdict. And when the verdict was read, Michael was acquitted on all 19 charges. And I remember how happy the people in the courthouse were, and everybody's drinking raw milk and yeehaw. And but you know, you knew this wasn't the end, and that's what I told Michael when we were at the hall across the street for the so-called celebration, and people were celebrating, and it was a happy time. But when Michael walked through the door, you know, I just stuck my hand out and shook his hand and said, you know, these people here think it's over. It's just beginning. The fight's just beginning. And he said, I know. And the province immediately went into a frenzy and an appeal. And and the judge was right when he acquitted Michael. You know, he said, everyone has the right to enter into a private agreement outside the intervention of the government. And his finding was correct, but it's not about food. It's about monopoly. It's about government control, and the government doesn't like competition. And if they let that acquittal stand, then there would be cow share, farm shares all over the place. And what the government was concerned about, because they make so much money off the Milk Marketing Board, and they control everything, is that it will undermine the Milk Marketing Board. I mean, why would you go out and pay these horrendous prices for quota when you don't have to? And that's where they're coming down on Michael so hard. But we have some really interesting news in my little hometown. This was sent to me. Who the hell sent this to me? I think Kathy Hamilton down in Marmora, who is always on the ball, searching and researching. And I didn't see this. I haven't really looked at our local news. I'll look at the main front page, but I didn't see this. Now, our town, our whole municipality is only 12,000 people. That's a couple high rises in the city, I think. And our town is about 7,500 people. And here's a notice from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, offers support, and you gotta like it. The Prime Minister of Canada offers his support to a little town of 7,500 people. Way to go, Tinkerbell. That's what I call Justin Trudeau, Tinkerbell. Hello, Kincardine. Pride. I want to offer you my sincere congratulations on everything you've achieved so far, and best of luck for the day of your parade. It makes me immensely proud to read about the support you're getting from across all walks of life in the community. Keep it up. Diversity is what makes our country strong. No matter where we live, love is love. And everywhere, everyone in Kincardine is free to be who they are and show their pride. And then he says it in French, which I'm not going to get into. But if you look at this sentence from Tinkerbell, or this paragraph, it makes him immensely proud to read about the support you're getting from across all walks of life in the community. Keep it up. Diversity is what makes our country strong. But you see, everything's backwards. Diversity is what exactly is tearing our country apart. Doesn't make it strong, it makes it weak. And that's the plan of diversity. That's the plan behind multiculturalism. Love is love. And everyone in Kincardine is free to be who they are and show their pride. Well, as we go through this little story here, that's in one of the local papers, you're not free to be who you are. Now, the police here are already on the lookout for people who are going to protest this Pride Parade. So they're not free to be who they are. They're already being threatened with arrests and show their pride. Well, these people are showing the pride of their forefathers who built this country, not the LGBTQ, but this is a farm community, and now we're having this Pride Parade jammed down our throat. And there's a kind of a reason for it down through this story. Here's a story anyways. It says Kincardine Pride got a nudge of approval from Canadian Prime Minister, or Canada's Prime Minister, in a Facebook post Friday afternoon. And I already read that. Now, organizer, this is the guy's name, organizer Fort Papilea, said businesses and organizations from across the community plan to show their support at the parade, which starts at 11 a.m. at Canuck Park and will march through town to Victoria Park. The family-oriented event isn't planned to imitate the scale or theme of the Toronto Pride, Papalier said, and the intent is to allow families, supporters, and local businesses the opportunity to show support for differences in sexual orientation, gender, and ways of life that people are often discriminated against worldwide. Now, here's the problem with this stuff, okay? I don't really think there's what you would call much, if any, discrimination. People around here are basically live and let live. This is about shoving something in everyone's face that doesn't need to be shoved in anybody's face. And this can go right back to the United Nations. It can go back to the Jewish multiculturalism push, the Jewish chaos, the Jewish Babylon, if you will. It's designed to destroy, not build. This is not about love, as Tinkerbell said. This is really about hate. And those who run the world hate us, generally. They look down upon us as a scourge upon the earth. There's too many of us. And one of the things is that it creates tension, it splits communities. Everything they do is there to split a community. So this Fort guy, I tracked him down. I don't know who the hell, what kind of a weird name is that, Fort? I've never heard that name for a first name before. Turns out I don't know what he is. What would you say he is? From India? He certainly ain't white. And he's with the community playhouse, the Arts Council, and they use the arts to deceive people with. We know that TV's art, and it's a deception. Lawyering is an art; it's a deception. And plays are art, and they are there to deceive through entertainment to move you to somewhere you wouldn't normally even consider going. So this guy's in the arts. Anyways, it goes on. People are talking about things that are important to them, and they're happy to be able to do that and haven't been comfortable to do that before, Fort said. The event has created a spark in people from all walks of life. It's something that transcends politics, age, income, anything. It includes people from everywhere. Fort said it is also one of the first Pride street parade events organized in the region, and added people have been relieved. They can finally talk about their friends or family members or problems they've had in a small town. Those taking part are welcome to decorate a vehicle, float, or walk as a business or community group. Rainbow colors are welcome, as well as shows of community spirit are invited, he said. We want everyone to enjoy themselves and just have fun with it, Ford said. Whatever people are comfortable doing, it is an opportunity to express themselves and express support for the cause. There is no cause. It's because of the United Nations. That's why it is a cause. It's because of the United Nations, the globalists, and their corporate partners. This is what irritates me. I'm going to say something about that a little bit later, but the parade ends at Victoria Park, where children's activities, arts and crafts, entertainment, music, and refreshments are planned. He said they're also hoping to get bagpipers out, as it wouldn't be Kincardine without one. Now, Kincardine, where I live, every Saturday night throughout the summer, the pipe band wanders through town. And it actually draws a ton of people. Like we're on Lake Huron. It is just kind of a touristy place up here, but it's a tradition that's been going on forever. And so they want to get the bagpipers involved in this as well. Well, the bagpipers are Scottish, and this is a Scottish town run by the Masons. It's a very Masonic town. It's a very closed town, as many in fact, most of the small towns in Ontario are really controlled. A lot of people don't understand that, but they are. It's a friendly community. Conversation. Now, conversation, they keep bringing that word up all the time. It's a conversation. Now, conversation, I saw a couple of places where they equate conversation with communitarianism. When I ran in the 2010 election, the deputy mayor, all through the candidate meetings and that, always, we need to start a conversation. And she's a total Marxist and a piss tank to boot. But she's most definitely pushing the Marxist game here, the globalist game. And it was always about starting a conversation. And that is basically a code word. Everywhere I go, people are amazingly supportive. Well, they ain't been to talk to me yet. I've had emails from people saying, congrats, we need this in small town Ontario, and it's wonderful, it's about time. The event has been in the works since 2016. Now, this is interesting. This was last year. Where did I see that? The event has been in the works since 2016, when Fort and other organizers were motivated by Kincardine News coverage of two street preachers. I think they came from London, Ontario, rolled into town one day. And so coverage of two street preachers speaking out against homosexuality in downtown Kincardine, along with other ways of life they disagreed with. But Kincardine's Pride organization has not been, that's what started it. I remember that. It was televised and in an extraordinarily negative fashion. Right? It was extreme. The coverage on that was so negative, it was ridiculous. But hey, let's get out the rainbow flags, right? Chris Pollock made a point to call the Kincardine News to tell the multimedia company of his plan to protest Kincardine Pride with his rebel flag in hand. Straight out, I'm going to protest right at the front of the main street. Just so you know, said Pollock, who added he's a Hollywood resident and neighboring here in Kinloss Township. I'm going to carry my rebel flag down, and if I get arrested, who cares? When told the Kincardine event was to be a family-oriented event that differed from Toronto Pride, Pollock said it didn't matter, and he still planned to protest in front of the parade. Asked it what he was protesting, Pollock said he believed it was against children's rights and that they shouldn't have to see a bunch of bums jumping around and everything else. And I agree with him 100%. I also believe that any parent worth their salt should pull their kids out of the public school system, and public, of course, means corporate, out of the corporate school system, because it's an indoctrination system. Now, if you go back, I think that's a wonderful film or a wonderful series, and that's America with a K. I know it's long. It's 13 freaking hours long, I believe. But it shows you exactly what's going on now? It's the feminization of the males. It's the board control, not elected officials control, and it's based on the Sovietized. It's after the Sovietization, really. It's after it's been Sovietized, which is basically implementation of Agenda 21, and now we're on to 2030. But it's all in that film. Re-education camp, where you can and can't live, and if you speak out, look out, or if you speak up, look out. And this is exactly where we are today. It's completely wrong and completely upside down. I don't think it's right, said Pollock. I don't believe in any of that. And second of all, I moved back here. I left 20-some years ago. I came back here to retire and actually have a nice life. And now we have got to have this kind of type of stuff. When told pride events are common everywhere. See, this is the same thing. They did this with the windmills. They do it with the water meters. They do it with the electric meters or the smart meters. Everything they do, right? They always sell it on the just like thing. Now, I spent a lot of time in marketing, and the just like thing is quite a convincing situation, and people do it all the time, when told pride events are common everywhere, that doesn't make them normal, folks. The open borders for the Muslims here. Well, the migrants are everywhere. And so what's your problem here? Well, did you look at Europe? They did the same thing with renewable energy. Well, we don't want to be left behind. Look at Germany. Look at Denmark. Well, what do they got to do with us? What we need to do here in the West is stop being like anybody else. Start being who we are, not who they want us to be. And we got to get over this nonsense. Oh, well, they're doing that there, it must be okay. That's seems to be the general thought process of people. It's not all right. It's not okay. They're destroying our nations. Okay, I got some stuff coming in here, so I'm just gonna go through this. I'm gonna go look what's coming at me here. When told pride events are common everywhere in communities and featured in the news, Pollock said he planned to work for MP Ben Lobb next year and isn't interested in what the event was supporting. Well, Ben Lobb is the conservative MP. He's a federal MP, total player. But see, this is where people get caught up. Mr. Pollock here doesn't like what he sees. We have a liberal provincial government. We have a liberal federal government. And so he's going to work with the federal MP next year. Well, the federal MP is in the same boat as the rest of them. Okay, he's a globalist. He's a UN puppet. And, so Mr. Pollock still has this problem with right-left. He thinks one's going to be different than the other. It ain't. Ford said everyone has a right to their opinion and noted the Kincardine Marketplace magazine article also received not comment, of course, but hateful comments on social media, as well as letters arguing against the event from a religious content. The authors also hinted at the potential for protest of Kincardine Pride from some in the religious community. Now, the other problem that the UN and the globalists have with the West is it's based on the King James Bible. Now, there's a big difference between Christianity and Christianity. The Catholic Church is a Satan-based Christianity, and the Protestant is actually the Christian faith. And that is the book, the King James Bible, that Elizabeth took the oath on, and the kings and queens before took the oath on to uphold the law as per. Okay, so that's what our society is based upon. Now, one of the things that's holding up this global government kind of thing is this book, the King James Bible, and they have to ditch it, and they have to replace it with Babylon. Because as long as our society is what it was, it will be peaceful. It will be as free as you're going to get it, and we don't want any of that stuff. We can't have it. So when the street preachers came up here, they got extraordinarily negative media. When the pride pops up, they get absolutely positive media. So you know there's somebody in the background pulling some strings here. Anyways, this goes on. As long as they're standing on the sidelines and are respectful of our event, we'll respect their right, Fort said. At least they're engaging. Slowly, attitudes changed, and we're starting a conversation again that's likely never happened here. Grey Bruce Labour Council Vice President Dave Trumbull said his organization is familiar with protesters and said they are proud to support the march with Kincardine Pride alongside the Ontario unions in support of LGBTQ community to secure legal, social, and economic rights the event supports. Now, we're all supposed to be equal. Now, Bill C-16, or I don't know, C-16? I think it's C-16, is now I won't be able to if you come up and you say, hey, John, how's it going? Well, I'm Joanne today. Well, whatever, John. I just told you I'm Joanne. Fine, John, whatever. I know you as John. Well, I'm not John. I'm Joanne. And you say that one more time, I'll take you up in front of the Human Rights Tribunal, and I'll take your frickin' house from you. But it's all about love. It's about insanity. Protection from workplace harassment and discrimination, human rights and protections for immigrants and refugees. Whoa. That's the Grey Bruce Labour Council. Same-sex marriage and adoption, safe and healthy workplaces, and equal access to decent wages, benefits, and pensions. Pride events bring together not only the LGBTQ community to secure all the aforementioned, but seek out all equity groups and sectors of the community, said the president, Kevin Smith. Getting and keeping a good job, safe, yada, yada. South Bruce OPP Provincial Constable Kevin Martin, whom I know, said he was informed of the potential for protests, but said they must remain peaceful. OPP recognized an individual's right to a peaceful demonstration, Martin said in an email. The OPP remains neutral. No, they don't. I got pictures of them wearing red high heels, for crying out loud, and they fly in the frickin' pride flag at the OPP station. How in the hell is that neutral? Our role is to keep the peace and maintain orderly conduct according to what the UN globalist corporations want us to do. Oh, I added that. We have specialized resources such as provincial liaison, team that work with all parties to reach a peaceful resolution. Martin later shared a comment from the South Bruce inspector, OPP inspector, and detachment commander Dana Early as well. Now, this broad vacated this town after I went to the police board hearing to lay some cards on the table about the conduct of her and the police chief, who retired after I went to the police board hearing, and she disappeared for 2 years only to return as the chief inspector. And this is how crooked this little freaking town is. The OPP and it's not just this little town, it's across the freaking board. The OPP recognized the rights to freedom of speech and the rights to peaceful assembly, Early said. If called upon, the South Bruce OPP officers will keep the peace with a taser, a gun, a lasso, a whip, whatever it takes. I added that part too. Maintain order and prevent offenses. However, it is important for people to realize that charges may be laid against any person found to be in violation of the law, which is kind of odd because the reason I went to the police board hearing was because Chief Inspector Dana Early broke the law. The chief of police broke the law. And many of their partners in crime, other OPP officers, broke the law. The CAO of the municipality broke the friggin' law. And when I brought that forward, did any charges get laid? They vacated their asses out of here, let the smoke clear, and then come back. So I may have to phone Dana and see if she actually understands what she's saying. So Bruce Power, Superheat, Bruce Telecom, Bruce Dunwoody, Nickel Insurance, Huron Bruce Federal Labor Association, Kincardine District Chamber of Commerce, Ross Firm Lawyers, Liars, Jewelry, have also show their support for the event, along with a number of other local businesses. For more information or to join the parade, email or visit Facebook. Well, we go over to Facebook. I went there last night checking some of this nonsense out. And what do we got here? We have, where's the numbers on this thing? So this is a community of 12,000 people, and they have 400 and some like this. Now I saw something in here, how many people were going to show up at this damn thing, like how many were planning on going and so on. The numbers I saw last night, I don't see them now. Maybe they're too low. Maybe they dropped them. Maybe I haven't gone far enough down here yet. A new generation, it says, overthrows gender. Guelph Pride Parade. Let's see. But anyways, somewhere on here I saw last night that the number that we're planning on going was around 10. And so that would say to me that they're probably going to bus these people in from different communities in order to get enough people to have a parade. It's the only thing I can think. Now, they did have a zombie parade here a few years ago, maybe, 3 years ago or whatever, and 3-4 years ago. And, I phoned, this is a shout out to Bruce Telecom, our newest sponsor. Thank you for your support. Well, now I'm going to have to phone Bruce Telecom because that's my telephone company, and I'm going to have to chew their face off. And I guess maybe go find a different telephone hookup because the telecom is also owned by the municipality, so it's the municipality. I can't see where I found that. Anyways, it was very, very low number, and I'm just going to actually throw this into the chat. You can see what's going on in my hometown if you're on Facebook or Jewbook. I hate this stupid thing. I'm just going to put this in as anonymous. I got this new computer. I got to redo everything on it. And I'll throw in where'd that go? Oh, I got to go back here. I'll throw in the story. I mean, it's a big deal, that Prime Minister Tinkerbell Trudeau um, uh, is, that's just got to make everybody happy around here. Wow, the Prime Minister of the country is showing his support for the Pride Parade in this little town. Isn't that amazing? No, it's not amazing at all. I went to get a coffee this morning, and the lady at the counter, she says to me, or I says to her about this gay pride parade. I said, I just found out about this thing. It's going to be in June sometime. And she says, oh, yeah. She says, I'm going to be marching in it. Why? I have my reasons. Well, do you know what it's about? Well, yeah, it's to show our support. No, it's not. It's to show your stupidity. It's to show these pride parades are for you people to show the globalists who set this up how stupid you really are. Okay? Because this whole pride thing is about them using you to attain what they want. And they don't get nobody, they don't, you think you're being discriminated against by other people. These people are using you to destroy your own community and your own nation. And you too stupid to know it. Because that's all that pride is about. Because you, the people, didn't set it up. The same freaking outfit that set up Idle No More, Black Lives Matter. What was that other thing there where they were chasing down the corporations? I forgot what that one's even called. All coming out of the same place. It's all about chaos. To create enough chaos that they can move in and set their system up. And when they get it set up, well, you know what you're worth? Absolutely squat. Because once the useful idiot has fulfilled their role, then they're of no use anymore. And so if there's any pride people out there listening to the show tonight, you best understand what's going on here. You're being used. Period. And when they're done and your role's done, look out. Let's see, spoke with CFR last night. I don't know who CFR is. Maybe throw that in at me. Or you can come in the show and talk about it. He said it's not the Jews, but Satan on earth. I said, who in the fuck is supporting Satan? Exactly, the Jews. He's a religious type of guy. I told him I'm not getting in discussion about the Illuminati. It's the fucking Jews. Excuse my language. It's not my words. I'm getting tired of the distractions. Yeah. And it is. I mean, if you look, I mean, it doesn't take an Einstein to figure this out. There's good and there's evil. Okay? And the evil is upon the earth. And the way I look at the story real quick is, one of the angels got uppity and got some of his angel buddies and said, I'm smarter than the big guy, right? Yeah, he created the earth and heavens and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, big deal. But I'm still smarter than he is. You guys need to hang with me, and then I'll be the boss. This is just a story, right? And then the big guy says, you know what? Settle down. No, we're taking over. Really? Boot. See ya. And where does this angel land? Down here. The light bearer. And what's he saying? I'll show you, you SOB. I'm going to destroy your creation. And this thing has been ongoing since the beginning of time. But Satan, Lucifer, the devil, I don't care what you call him, he can't do nothing himself. He needs people to do it for him. The great deceiver. So those who, I just call them the amoral crew, get offers. If you do this, I'll give you that. Okie dokie, sign here. And this is where we're at. You know, we don't have law. We have legal. And legal, by definition, is adversarial. You look up adversary, who do you see? Satan. Okay, but who's doing Satan's work? Because Satan can't do anything. So who's doing his work? Who's his foot soldiers? Who are the deceivers? Seems to be the Jews. And I'm not going to get into what type of Jew, because there's apparently so many freaking types of Jews. You know, we have humanist Jews, we have atheist Jews, we have Ashkenazi Jews, we have Israeli Jews, we have Zionist Jews, I guess, which is the Israeli Jews. So, you know, I don't get into this. You know, I see sometimes, well, you know, some Jews are protesting against Israel. So what? Maybe they're deceivers too. You know, maybe it's all part of the game, part of the plan. But this idea that the Jews are somehow the good guys is laughable. Absolutely laughable. Now, just before we get out of here, where did I see that story? Oh, I know. It's hard for me to keep track of all this stuff, man. There, I know. Somebody sent it to me. This is good. This should clue people in. And if it doesn't, not my fault. This is, when was this? This is from November 7, 2016. This is from Marrakesh, Morocco. Executive Secretary of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, Patricia Espinosa, speaks during the opening of the UN Climate Change Conference 2016. Now, this is really important. This is a beautiful piece because it tells you what they're up to. And I'm trying to tell people this for years. People can't seem to see past the end of their frickin' noses. This is a globalist takedown. And it's coming out of the UN because it was the globalists that set up the UN, the internationalists. And if you understand who the internationalists are, it always goes back to the Jews. Period. The foot soldiers for Mr. Evil himself. Anyways, nations around the world have adopted more than 1,200 laws. Listen to this, 1,200 laws to curb climate change, up from about 60 laws 2 decades ago, which is a sign of widening efforts to limit rising temperatures, a study showed Tuesday. It has nothing to do with temperatures. It has to do with locking your ass down. Most countries have a legal basis on which future action can be built, Patricia Espinosa, the UN climate change chief, told a webcast news conference of the findings issued at an international meeting on climate change in Bonn, Germany. She said the findings were cause for optimism, adding that laws were one yardstick for tracking action on global warming alongside others such as investment in renewable energy or backing for a 2015 climate agreement ratified by 144 nations. The study by the London School of Economics reviewed laws and executive policies in 164 nations, ranging from national cuts in greenhouse gases to curbs emissions in sectors such as transport, power generation, or industry. 47 laws have been added since world leaders adopted a Paris Agreement to combat climate change in late 2015, a slowdown from previous peak of about 100 laws a year from 2009 to 2013. When many developed nations pass laws. Now, here's important. This is very important. U.S. President Donald Trump doubts that climate change has a human cause and is considering pulling out of the Paris Agreement. Right? But then it says, but legislation is often complicated to undo. Why? Who made these laws? Who did the legislation? The lawyers. And it goes on. This is a quote. If you have that big body of 1,200 laws, it's hard to reverse. Samuel Fankhauser, co-director of the LSE's Grantham Research Institute on Climate Change and the Environment, told a news conference. The study said that developing nations were legislating more, but there were many gaps. Nations including Comoros, Sudan, and Somalia had no climate laws. We don't want weaklings in the chain, said Martin Churgong, Secretary General of the Interparliamentary Union. The Interparliamentary Union, okay? This is the gathering of the parliaments of the world. This is Lloyd Axworthy on the refugees. Lloyd Axworthy was Foreign Affairs, which is foreign business, and now he's at the head of this new refugee thing. And he's also a member of the UNPA, which is the Parliamentary Assembly, the United Nations Parliamentary Assembly. It's all about taking us down. Now, we're going to have to get strong and make no bones about it. I don't like religion. I have no use for religion, nor does the King James Bible have any use for religion. It refers to religion as deception. And that's exactly what it is. But there is good and there is evil. There is moral and there is amoral. And this amoral club of psychopathic sociopaths have got a stranglehold on the world, and then the moral people are going to have to get a little bit stronger, a whole lot stronger, and stand up and do basically what the big guy upstairs did in the first place. Give the evil, give the threat the boot. And that is how we fix our world. That is how we save our nations. And that's what we're going to do. Anyways, he urged all countries to adopt laws that help. Listen to this crap. This Secretary General of the Interparliamentary Union urges all countries to adopt laws that help limit downpours. How do you adopt a law that limits downpours, heat waves, and rising sea levels? You know, when I read garbage like this, I always Shakespeare just pops into my head. First. Don't eat breakfast yet. First, kill all the lawyers. And we don't need a bloodbath of lawyers. What we need to do is we need to nullify their existence. We need to nullify the legal system, which is the system of lawyering or lying. It is Satan's law system. Okay, and every law they put down harms people. Every single thing that comes through the legislatures harms people. So we know that's the opposite of real law. And that's why they call it the legal system, because they can't call it the lawful system, because it ain't. It's the opposite of. And we gotta just, it's a spirit. I don't care if you think what I'm saying is nuts. This is a spiritual, psychological war, which requires, to win this war, it requires people of strong spirit, strong mind, and strong spine. And then we get out the boot. See ya. Or that old song, hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. Ever. You're out of here. And it ain't that difficult for us to do, because there's lots of us. But we do have to engage with people. We have to speak to people. We have to explain to people what's actually going on. Now, I'm sure, I don't know how this pride parade here is going to turn. That doesn't really matter. But these people are going to be all excited because they're recognized in their own little fantasy world. And they'll dance and parade around and all this kind of, not having a sweet bejesus clue. They're just a bunch of useful idiots being used to destroy their own families, their own homes, their nation. And it all comes out of the same damn place. They call Israel Israel, the synagogue of Satan or whatever. The Catholic Church is the synagogue of Satan. We got to get rid of this stuff, and we got to show some pride, not their kind of pride, but real kind of pride, like the pride our forefathers had. Real pride. In our families, in our brothers and sisters, in our neighborhoods, and in our nation. Because it's a given. A weak nation, and the nation is the people. A weak people cannot survive. We're in the middle of a genocide right now, because they've weakened the spirits, the minds, and the spines of the people that make up the nation. And it's a total chaos mess. It's all fractured. Just, got the ladle in the pot and they're just spinning it. And then when it's so chaotic, it can't take it anymore, to pull that thing out, and what comes of it is that we have nothing. We have no control. We own nothing. We are nothing. And that's not where we want to end up with. Anyways, if you're not doing nothing on the 29th and 30th, get down to Newmarket Court.
Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids. No one makes countries lie to your face.